Yeah. Shit. Sod off. I have good news for you, Sir Anselm. I know who killed your friend. Who was it? Actually, I'm not quite sure. I'd better go back and see what more I can find out. I have good news for you.
Who was it?
Actually, sorry, Sir Anselm, but I haven't been able to find out who the murderer is.
Oh well, what's to be done? Thanks for trying anyway.
I have good news.
Who was it?
It was old Blaha who did it. He does their writing and counting for them.
How did you find out?
From the necklace.
All right. I'll take care of it from here. And I owe you for helping me. Here, Henry, take this. I'm sorry I don't have more on me. But if you're ever in Prague, come and look me up, and I'll see you're well taken care of.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Anselm. Godspeed.
How are you?
I've got some goods here.
All right. God be with you.
Let's have a word about the... Here you are, with a little top-up.
My word. Thank you kindly.
What the? Oh. Look out!
Greetings. What business have you?
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot! Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me.
Good luck then.
God save you. Take care.
I'm glad. See you later.
What? Well, I never. Hey, you've no business here. Clear off or you'll be... Who are you? Are you looking for something? Is someone there? Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? If you don't clear off quick, it'll be the worse for you.
Jesus! What do you think you're doing? You've no business here.
God be with you. God be with you.
I'd like to discuss... Satisfied? What do you...
All right, so.
God's sake.
Do you know if...
Goodbye.
Less... Satisfied?
It'll take more than...
Is it...
I'd almost... Finally, a reason...
God be with you.
Sir Hans, I heard something about a tourney in Rattay.
Yes, Hanush has decided to revive the tourney at the Upper Castle. It's only a bit of entertainment for commoners. A few fellows on foot bashing each other with various weapons.
Oh, you don't seem like your usual cheerful self, sir. Anything wrong?
Yes, blast it. Hanush was on my back about what I'd do all day, so I told him I was busy dealing with very important knightly matters. I said I was training my future page in combat, initiating him into the art of swordsmanship and other battle skills.
I didn't know you had a page.
Well, that's just the thing. I don't. It was just something I made up on the spot to get him off my back. Only it seems I was a bit too convincing. Now, Uncle wants my imaginary page to demonstrate what he's learnt in the tourney.
I can see how that could be a bit awkward.
That's putting it mildly. The old man is like a dog with a bone. He'll never let go. Unless... Yes, now I think of it. I'll tell Hanush I was training you. All you have to do is enter the tourney, batter the fuck out of all the other peasants, and everyone will be happy. Except for the losers, of course.
What, and I'm to become your page? I'm not sure if Sir Radzik will agree.
No, Radzik doesn't have to know anything about it. It's just a little charade for Uncle's benefit. Not that it's such a bad idea. Who knows, maybe one day.
All right. I just hope it won't get me into trouble.
Everything will be just fine. You'll see.
Well, I suppose I can handle a few fellas one at a time. Oh, all right then.
Of course you can. That's the spirit. You have to put up some coin to enter, though. Naturally, I'll pay for that, so you don't go around calling me a pinch purse. Go and see the tournament master. You'll find him somewhere around the upper castle courtyard. He'll explain everything and sign you up. Run along now. And don't let me down, Henry. Remember, you have to demonstrate you've been trained by a master.
Your wish is my command.
Excellent. Afterwards, we'll drink to your glorious deeds.
About that affair of yours.
I don't know yet. You've come too soon. Come back in the morning.
God be with you.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
I'd like to enroll in the big tournament.
You'll have to wait a few days until Sir Hanush announces another one. Come then, and I'll gladly sign you up.
Can I wait here until the next tourney starts?
By all means. You can stay at the castle along with the other combatants. You can stay here until the next tourney for low rent. You'll get bed and board, like in any good inn.
Sounds good. I'll consider it.
God be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God be with you, lad. Well,
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning, as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sassau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs.
good luck then.
Well, well, who have we here?
Ah, the prodigal son returns. I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess, you saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
But I had a divine revelation. That next time I won't be around to pull you out of the shit.
Oh, well, I am sorry. But these things are sent to try our fortitude in the face of adversity.
I'd like to try your fortitude. I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally, Musk of Infinite Allure, an age-old recipe, maybe even older, tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
What? That much? You're a crook.
As King Solomon said, honesty is for those who can afford it. If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor.
Oh, not again.
Now, is that any tone to use with your master? For shame.
Apologies, Master. I was carried away by my thirst for knowledge.
I understand your impatience, but the way to wisdom is narrow and arduous.
And leads out the window. So what is it you want from me now?
Ah, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I was some kind of charlatan. Can you believe it? Does this look to you like the face of a swindler? I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls.
A regular Good Samaritan.
And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sassau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead return from the grave, a corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
Chop its head off and sprinkle holy water on it?
That is the traditional way of dealing with such supernatural manifestations. You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss how to deal with such dark forces. It is our sacred duty to prepare them for such threats.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. We'll need a grave, an empty grave that we can use. There's one along the way to Sasau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely? What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it, and in places like that, revenants sprout up like mushrooms after rain.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
But that's a sin.
Refusing to help the needy is also a sin. I haven't had a decent meal for 40 days and 40 nights.
My conscience is clear where your stomach is concerned. Disturbing a grave is a grave sin.
The grave is not in hallowed ground, so that's hardly worth one Lord's Prayer in penance. I asked a priest once, just out of curiosity.
I'll need a spade then.
Yes, dig it up and remove the remains, leaving no trace.
And what am I to do with the remains?
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sasau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the revenant.
I might have known any task for Capon would turn into some insane escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
God save you. For how long?
Just the...
You'll... See you later. Good luck then.
Let's talk about the... Is this enough?
That.
Are we agreed?
See now, I knew we'd come to an agreement.
As you wish.
Hosts baked in the temple of Jerusalem. God be with you. See you later.
God be with you. See you later.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
God be with you, good wife. Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
Well, no one wanted to work with him, or what?
Ah, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, I can understand him. To watch your family suffer like that. What could he do when they were going hungry?
If we'd known how badly off they was, folk would have helped out. But he kept his troubles to himself.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Ledetchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No, no. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
God have mercy on their souls.
Amen.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
I said no. Will you let it lie?
Ladies and gentlemen, good men and good wives, come closer. Poor or rich,
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
so begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
Huh. I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Her conscience was troubled on account of her man, and she couldn't sleep. But I helped her, so she's found some peace.
So, no problem then.
What? I'm supposed to scare the wits out of her and start all over again?
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great.
So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
Well, what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
All right, I'll sell them to you.
Splendid.
What about this?
It'll take more than that to persuade me. Revenant bones. They'll be very useful indeed. God be with you.
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well...
Well?
Pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight. The stern knight was enraged and challenged his rival to a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched. And so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them? About that recipe.
Yes, you want to buy it?
So, how am I doing so far?
What? You've already started? Well, there hasn't been a whisper so far. You should put more effort into it.
That's still not enough, is it?
You've hardly even started yet. See you later. Take care.
Tell me, is Alois still haunting you?
No, he's gone forever. Ever since I let go of my old secret and made amends with God, I've felt as light as a feather. I sleep like a newborn baby at night. Thank you 100 times over, Henry. God be with you. God be with you.
Problem with stomach ulcers? Buy my potions made from magical herbs.
See you later.
Mother of God.
I hope you're not after eggs.
Eggs? Why?
Because they've almost all gone off. Can you imagine the stink?
I don't think I want to.
Terrible it is.
Uh-huh.
Enough to make you retch.
I see.
A diabolical stink. Like you've got a dose of the...
All right, I get the picture.
Aren't you a bit oversensitive?
Problem with stomach ulcers? Buy my potions made from magical herbs.
I weighed this just a
from
while
the
ago.
flanks of Mount Olympus.
goods, fresh from the oven. Come get 'em!
Clear off before I have you thrown out.
Hey!
What's up? Well, I never.
mandrake roots
Yeah.
taken straight from the gallows at
Yeah.
Good health to you. God be with you.
God be with you.
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking?
Pay close attention.
I'm all ears.
How love once there was a knight who he fell in love with a fragile young maid, but he was afraid the pious this the anguish their bond.
Would you teach me?
Certainly.
I'd like to hone.
First you have to have.
Well, will you teach me?
Certain.
I'd like to practice.
All right.
Isn't that quite?
That's not it. Sorry, but I'm not going.
Will you?
Sir.
I'd.
Oh.
Is...
Agreed. Take care.
Will you teach me how?
Certain.
I'm interested in more.
All right.
Isn't that?
Agreed. Take care.
Will you teach?
Certainly.
I'd like to.
All right.
Isn't that quite? What?
You're a right pinch purse. Sorry, but I'm not.
Will you teach me? I'd.
All...
Is...
Agreed. Take care.
Powder made of the bones.
Ah! Yeah.
Is there something you need?
Hey!
God's blessing.
I'd like to...
And what is it you...
Oh, I'll certainly need a physician.
I'm sure you'll be... God be with you.
anyone asks, I wasn't here. My wife would throw a fit if she
What?
knew I was
Show
here with you
yourself.
young wenches.
You want something from me, do you?
It'd calm her down.
I couldn't drag the old witch here with a team of 10 horses.
Ah, well, maybe she'll get a bath in the ducking stool.
What's that?
What are you staring at? The baths are for paying guests, not idlers with nothing better to do.
That sounded like...
Hey! For God's sake! There! Over there! Help! Over there!
You want something from me, do you?
What in God's name?
Salt, bring an ale. The bloody tears.
Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all. Just lamb now. Hang on, this is venison. From roe deer. No wonder it's under lock and key. It's roe deer venison for sure. Someone's been poaching.
Garlic, onions, mushrooms, and asparagus. Come right up. No need to be
You
shy.
want something from me, do you?
Hey, is someone there?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good health. Goodbye.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Welcome back. What news from Ratai?
Well, the bailiff read Sir Divish's decree, and now I'm officially bailiff of Pribyslavitz.
Then allow me to congratulate you. What will be your first step?
First, actually, I'm not quite sure. What would you recommend?
As it happens, I already sought a few things in your absence. You might have noticed that the first people have come from Ratai.
Yeah, I saw some heading here right away.
So when they arrived, I was able to start clearing building plots with them. After they'd erected some temporary dwellings, that is.
So we're ready to get things started?
As long as you know what you want to build, I can show these new people what to do. We'll be building on the sites we've measured out. You can go and look them over first, if you like.
I'll do that. I'll see what's going to be built where.
Nevertheless, I doubt you'll be able to figure that out just from looking at the sites.
How do I choose what to build where?
I've already given it some thought on your behalf. I even wrote it all down in the accounts ledger. Everything will be recorded there. I'll make a note of every change as we proceed.
Thanks. That'll be a big help. And where can I find this book?
It will always be kept at the Rat House.
What about the workers' wages and buying materials for artisans?
The money must be put in the trunk here. The expenditures for wages and materials will be taken from it. So you should keep it topped up to prevent delays. It reminds me, there's the matter of my own pay to be resolved.
Yes, of course.
Sir Divish guaranteed me a fixed income. What's more, this job is an exceptionally big one.
I see. How much are you thinking?
I have a record of payment here somewhere. Here it is. Let's say 1/4 more than that.
I can't afford that much. At least not now, right at the start. But I do need your help. How about this much?
That's a fair offer. It seems we understand each other. I agree.
Good. I'll put your wages in the trunk too. Are you sure it's quite safe?
Quite. Only you and I shall have a key and access to the trunk. Besides, we'll have guards on watch here.
That's reassuring.
That's about all to begin with. If you need any more details, I'll be happy to explain things to you.
Could you explain something to me? Nothing, actually. I want to build something.
Certainly, Master Bailiff. What's it to be?
We'll need woodcutters to ensure timber supplies for building.
It's impossible. Check what you need in the ledger.
I'd rather not. Could you explain? Nothing. I want to build.
Certainly.
We'll need woodcut.
It's impossible.
I'd rather not. I want to build.
Certainly.
We'll need wood.
It's impossible.
With all the woods around, we ought to keep bees here. There's always a demand for honey.
It's impossible.
I'd rather not. I want to build.
Certainly.
We'll need wood.
Right. That should do it. We've got everything we need to start building. Come with me.
We're going to build here?
Right here. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. We've got what we need. Let's get to work.
I want to build...
Certainly.
That rickety old footbridge won't do. We need a proper bridge and a firm road.
Very well. Come along with me. Once we're there, I'll oversee the building, so they don't botch anything.
We're going to build here?
Right here.
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. All good. We can start construction.
I want to build...
Certainly.
With all the wood...
Very well. Come along, so they don't botch anything.
We're going to build here?
Right here.
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check. All good.
I want to build something.
Certainly.
No, we don't have a tavern here yet. People need to wash the dust down after a hard day's work.
It's impossible.
I'd rather not. I want to build...
Certainly.
I'd like to build the rat house.
Right. That should do it. We've got everything we need to start building. Come with me.
We're going to build here?
Yes. Certainly.
I'd like to...
Very well. So they don't botch anything.
We're going to build here?
Indeed. Can we begin?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again. All good. We can start construction.
I want to build...
Certainly.
We need guards to protect the village and keep the peace, and we need to build them a guardhouse.
It's impossible.
Let's start repairing the church.
Very well. Come along with... So they don't bot...
We're going to build here?
Right here. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have... We've got what we need. Let's get to work.
Oh.
There's another unpleasant matter for you to handle.
Nothing too terrible, I hope.
That's for you to decide, Master Bailiff. As you know, the woods and everything in them belong to our liege lord. He gave you the right to make use of them, but as far as I know, no one else is allowed to hunt there.
Let me guess. Some of our fold are putting game on their tables from our woods, and I have to deal with them.
Just so. A case like this ought to be judged by his lordship himself, but I fear Sir Divish might be a little too strict in this matter.
So what are my options?
You can hand the poachers over to justice, let them off with a warning, or, of course, one can always turn a blind eye and leave it in the hands of God. What's your decision?
We'll confiscate the poached game and put the fear of God into the culprit so they don't do it again. No point in carrying it any higher. We should keep our own affairs in order.
A wise decision, Henry. I'll see to it.
Altar candles from France, and pieces of cloth all the way from the Holy Land.
God be with you.
Hang on, this is venison. From roe deer. No wonder it's under lock and key. Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all. Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all. Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all.
God be with you.
How what?
I've got...
All right. Goodbye. All right. Goodbye.
I'd like to Agree?
It'll take more.
My last off.
That's better. Drop it. All right, so.
Light a torch before the catchpoles see you.
God bless you.
I'd like to take lodgings here until the next tourney starts.
Certainly.
Here you are.
See you later.